Hello, my name is Sam. I'm from RoadieResource.com, and today we are going to solder a male Neurtik XLR connector. For this project, we need a few basic tools. I'm using a pair of scissors, not even a wire stripper, just a pair of scissors that you may have around. Some electrical solder, a 25-watt soldering pen, a XLR cable, of course a male Neurtik XLR connector, and I'm using a cable tester. This will be used to test the cable afterwards and also to hold the insert while I solder it. Let's take apart our connector, which we can do by untwisting the boot, popping that off. Inside we will find the clamp, and there's the insert, which is the bit with the pins, and of course there is our die-cast barrel. Before we forget, I will take the boot, slide that over the cable, because if you don't do it now, you'll regret it later when you have to redo your project because you forgot to put the boot on. Take the insert. I'm going to put this into my cable tester. Once again, I'm just doing this to hold it while I solder it. You could of course use a clamp or a vise for this, but I find this comes in handy. Our first step is stripping the cable. I'm doing this once again just using a pair of scissors. Bend the cable, I'd say about 3/4 of an inch from the end, ½ inch or so, and make a cut around the outside of the cable. And you're just trying to cut the outside rubber, not any of the cable's inside. So just cut very lightly and bend it the other way and continue that cut. And once you've cut all around it, that might require a bit more. Once you've cut all around it, you should be easily be able to just pull it off like that. It gave me a bit of trouble, but there we go. Our cable stripped real easy. As we can see, the ground or the shield are on the outside. Let's pull that off to one side, and that's just these loose wires here, and we will gather them all together and twist them into one lead. We also have in here some filler, which is this twine here. I'm going to cut that away because that's just going to get in our way while we're working. And we also have our positive and negative leads. We need to strip these, and once again I'm doing that using just a pair of scissors. You might want to make these wires a bit shorter, but this is just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to cut just slightly on the end, just enough to break through the insulation, but not cut the wires inside, of course. And bend that over, and we will be able to easily strip. Oops, there we go. That wire and that wire. And twist those together. And there is a XLR cable really simply stripped using just a pair of scissors. Now let's tin the wire, which simply means to apply solder to the ends of the wire here. And I'll do that just by heating up the wire and the solder together with my soldering pen and putting some solder on the ends of each of the wires. There's one, there's two, and here's three. And you can see there's solder on each of the three ends of the wire now. The next step is to fill the cups on the ends of the pins with solder. You will see that the ends of the pins here have these little cups, which we just heat up like this and put some solder into, like that. there's the first one, or actually the second pin. It doesn't matter which order you do these though. And we'll fill that one. And finally, fill this one. Just once again heating up the pin and the solder. And there's a little too much on that one. But, anyways, just for demonstration purposes, we have 1, 2, and 3 pins filled in with solder. The next step is connecting our wires. Now our pins go 1, 2, and then 3 is on the bottom. So pin number 1 over here connects to our ground. So we will heat up the solder that I just put in the cup and attach the wire and just hold it until it solidifies. There's 1, and the hot lead, or the positive, the red wire, goes to pin number 2, which is on the other side here. Once again, heating up the solder in that cup and putting in that wire. There's number 2. Oops. And here is pin number 3. And we're done. Again, these may be a little too long. You might want to cut them a bit shorter in the field. But again, for demonstration purposes, the ground is going to pin number 1, the positive is going to ground number 2, and the negative is going to ground number, or pin number 3. And I'll finish up this wire by attaching the clamp, sliding that up, and then putting the barrel on over top, and finding where that goes. And this has to fit together. There's a track that both the insert and the clamp fit into. And if you just keep twisting, you'll find it. There it is. And slide up the boot. Twist the boot on. And we're done. Let's test this. I'll put this end in the cable tester. I'll put the other ends in the cable tester. I'll turn it on. And there we go. We'll check for any faults. It's a good cable. So there's a quick tutorial on how to make a male XLR connector. I'm Sam from RoadieResource.com.